Hey guys, what's going on? This is video number 3 on my YouTube account. My name is Matt Prophet, the Artful Rhino. I hope you're doing well this evening. I come to you tonight to give you another interest of mine. For those of you who know me best, you guys know that I am a big fan of the sport of professional wrestling. I live, for those of you who don't know who I am or where I live, allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Matthew Prophet. I'm 34 and I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I am a fan of pro wrestling, as I mentioned before. I grew up watching pro wrestling over my mom's protest. She wouldn't even let me watch wrestling. One, because I'm autistic. And mainly because of my autism, she was afraid that I'd act it out at home in real life. When we all know that professional wrestling, be it WWE, TNA, All Elite Wrestling, New Japan, or what have you, it's basically scripted. I had a hard time believing that when I was little. Especially growing up and getting into puberty and all that. When I started watching it when I was like a couple of years after my dad died. I would have been about 7 or 8. And I got into it because some of my friends would watch it. There were a couple things out there that my mom wouldn't let me watch when I was growing up. Mainly WWE or pro wrestling, anything with pro wrestling. Another show she wouldn't let me watch would be South Park, which was going head-to-head with WWE in the ratings in the mid to late 90s and the early 2000s. And the other thing she wouldn't let me watch was Jerry Springer. Obviously. My favorite memory I have of live events, as far as attending, was my very first live event ever in Oldham County, Kentucky. One county over from the city of Louisville, which is Jefferson County, due east. We were out at the LaGrange, Kentucky Fairgrounds in Oldham County. LaGrange, Kentucky. In Oldham County. The Oldham County Fairgrounds. We were there with my cousin, my aunt. Actually, no, my 2 cousins, Adam and Ross, were there. I have triplet cousins, Adam, Emily, and Ross. And Adam and Ross were looking for me. I had separated from the pack, and I was getting bored. And I saw a big tent with a crowd, and I'm like, maybe it's just a band setting up. And then I saw a official coming over, and he had some wrestling belts in his hand. I thought he was going to be selling them. He wasn't. I saw him heading to another tent adjacent to the big top. Well, I then heard a voice say, "Ladies and gentlemen, please head to your seats. We have 20 minutes to bell time. 20 minutes till bell time." And I'm like, bell time? You mean like a church bell? That sparked my curiosity a little bit because I love music. So I went in there and I finally found out what the term bell time meant. There was a professional wrestling ring, regulation sized, for a promotion called Bad to the Bone Wrestling. A promotion based in Bardstown, Kentucky. So I'm sitting there, I plot my... Let me tell you guys what. Right now, that was when I was like in the 9th grade, freshman year of high school. I was getting ready to turn 16 the following February. Getting ready to go to my sophomore year. I just finished my freshman. Getting ready to turn 16 in February that year. At that time, I'm about 290, 305. And I plopped my big mud flap butt cheeks into the very first row I could find that had an empty seat. It was the front row, too. And here I am, having a good time, and I'm saying, kill him, kill him, kill him. Cousin Adam comes up. He says, he's got my cousin Ross. He said, "Hey, Matt, your mom's been looking for you." And I'm like, "Shut up, Adam. I'm watching this." Finally, he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, and he looks toward the ring, and he found out what I was watching. So he calls my mom, and he says, "We found him." "Oh, don't worry, he's fine, but you're not going to believe where we found him at." So my mom goes over, she sits in the seat right over here to my left. You're all's right. And she says, she looks at me and says, "Having fun?" I'm like, yeah, be quiet, Mom. I'm like, I know my mom remembers the story. Mom, if you're listening, I love you, but I just have to tell the story to my viewers. I love you, Mom. I'll call you later. But anyway, after that, no, I kind of wouldn't admit that wrestling was entertainment and not an actual sport, especially the sport of professional wrestling. And then one night, about 6 months later, about 4 and 5 months later, it's Thanksgiving night, and I'm sitting at home, and I got the family over, and I'm in the living room watching WWE SmackDown. At that time, it was being held on a Thursday. And that Thursday just happened to be Thanksgiving Day, right? And finally, I noticed that there was a move, that the camera zoomed in, and there was a wrestler zoomed in. I could tell they weren't really making contact, and I had what do you call it, like T-bow. You had to rewind it and watch it real slow. The wrestler was selling the blow, but they weren't hitting each other. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. He's not really hitting him. They're play fighting. He's selling that. That little sellout. My mom's back here in the kitchen. She said, finally. And so he gets it. So from that day on, I kind of figured it out that it was a show. But that's my experience with a live event. I do have a couple favorite promotions going out there, though, other than the WWE. I want to give a shout out to a couple of them. Some of them I'm friends with personally here in Louisville that wrestle on the independent circuit. That wrestle here in Louisville with a promotion that used to be the training grounds for WWE at one time called Ohio Valley Wrestling. I want to give a shout out to Al Snow. That's right, the Al Snow from WWE. Is currently one of the top tier guys in management and ownership over there in WWE. Head of production over there, and Al, shout out to you. Shout out to OVW. Give a shout out to a couple of the guys who I'm friends with on my social media. I want to give a shout out to Dean Hill, a wedding officiant and former ring announcer. Let's see, who else I want to give a shout out to. I want to give a shout out to Tony Gunn. I want to give a shout out to Randy Royal. Oh, and by the way, getting back to you, Tony Gunn. Congratulations on winning the OVW heavyweight title for a third time. Congratulations, and I hope you enjoy your reign. Best wishes in your future defenses. And I know since that documentary dropped on Netflix a few months back, Wrestlers, you guys have been selling out your shows. So, Tony, I hope one day you get to come out here and watch you wrestle, and maybe defend the title. Defend your title eventually, win or lose. I got your back. But hopefully I'll get out there soon, okay, Tony? Love you, brother. Randy Royal, like I said, I'm going to give a shout out to you. Dr. Ted McNailer. Let me tell you about this guy. I used to watch Ted McNailer back in like 2006 or 7. 2006 or 7 when he debuted in OVW. He came in with at that time he was known as Ted the Trailer McNailer. Him and his tag team partner Fat Fingers Dewey had a tag team together called the Mobile Homers. And at that time, OVW was still a training ground for WWE. They had what do you call it? A couple tag team, like some well-known guys come up with the ranks of OVW. They have Brock Lesnar came through, got called out for OVW. John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, son of Cowboy Bob Orton, and grandson of Cowboy Bob Orton Sr. Who else? Crime Time came through. JTG and Shad Gaspard. I know one of them passed away, saved himself from drowning, so I want to say it's, it's sad losing a wrestler that you love, who you think's a hero. Speaking of that, I want to touch base on something. My favorite wrestlers, living or deceased, that I want to talk about, that I respected so much, that actually hit home to me. I've got 3 of them. 2 of them are deceased, and one of them, about a year ago, entered the Hall of Fame. 2 of them currently are in the Hall of Fame, and one is not, due to his wife's request. The first one, who passed away, Owen Hart. The late brother of Bret the Hitman Hart, and brother-in-law of Jim the Anvil Neidhart and the British Bulldog Davy Boy Smith. This was one of the deaths that hit home to me. He was a wonderful father, a loving husband, a hard worker. He really knew how to save money. A lot of the guys said he was cheap on the road because he wanted something for his kids to have if anything were to happen. When he died at Over the Edge in that accident, not only did that hit home with several wrestlers and especially his family members who knew him best in the business, but it hit home with some of the fans. As did me. I was only 10 when he passed, or when that accident happened. And the very next night they did the Raw tribute, and I tuned in just for it. A couple other wrestling deaths that hit home with me, as far as favorites go, would be Luke Harper. A couple years ago, Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee in AEW and Ring of Honor, real name John Huber. They say he may have been in character and he was intimidating, but when he was out of character, he was a loving guy who always had a smile on his face. He loved his children. He loved his wife. Xavier Woods. It was either Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston. One of the members of the New Day said that he had a son. One of the members of the New Day just had a newborn son. Luke Harper was the first person to hold the baby after he did. And Biggie Langston, even Biggie Langston for the New Day, even said he was the best good brother that anyone would ever want to have. And I was watching the AEW Dynamite show after the week he passed away. Eric Rowan came down to the ring and had a sign that said, "So long for now, my brother. See you down the road." Then, of course, Terry Funk, the hardcore legend, died on I think it was a Wednesday. And then Bray Wyatt died the day after. It was kind of like that one year where Farrah Fawcett died in the morning, and then at lunchtime Michael Jackson died. A couple nights later, me and some of my friends, we went to the KFC Yum Center here in town, where the U of L men's basketball team plays. University of Louisville's men's basketball team plays there. To see Friday Night SmackDown live on TV. And they did the memorial service for Terry Funk. The in memory thing they do for Terry Funk, for the wrestlers who passed away at the top of the show. Then the 10-bell salute. Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman came and show their support for one night only. And the other superstar who really took a toll on me passing away was Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. This one really got me when I heard about it. I'll admit, when I tuned in for the Eddie Guerrero tribute show that Monday on Raw, where they did the 10-bell salute, I watched that whole show all the way through. And after they went off the air, I had to turn the TV off, and I just sat there in tears for a little bit. My mother comes over to comfort me, and right before I went to bed for the night, I bowed my head and I said a prayer, not just for the wrestlers who passed away, not just for Eddie Guerrero and his family, and I asked God to watch over the families of those who lost their lives in the world of professional wrestling, and for those still living, to keep them, to watch over them and their families, to keep them safe in competition and in the real world. And I would like to ask you all to do the same, whatever your religious beliefs are, to ask that these wonderful men and women who put their lives on the line to entertain us, the fans, on a nightly basis, to be safe, and if they do get injured, pray for them for a speedy recovery, and pray that the doctors do their jobs, and deliver the best results possible. So, I'd like to close by talking about a wrestler who I decided to save for last, and that is a gentleman who's known as Mark Calloway, but professionally and immortally known as The Undertaker. This man has always been my favorite wrestler of all time. I know he doesn't ask for respect. They say, he doesn't ask for respect. He demands respect. And he's going to get every bit of that respect from me. And he's gotten every single bit of respect from the fans, all the way up even past his retirement and Hall of Fame induction. And I remember swearing. I remember putting my right hand on the Bible and swearing on the Holy Bible itself that the very day that The Undertaker will retire was the day that I, Kentucky Colonel Matthew Philip Prophet, currently age 34, of Louisville, Kentucky, USA, would retire from being a loyal fan of professional wrestling. I'm sad and proud to say that only one of us two gentlemen kept our word. The Undertaker is in the Hall of Fame where he rightfully belongs, and I understand he is enjoying retirement via some of his social media posts on his official page. And I will be tuning in at 8 p.m. Eastern Time this evening on Monday. Today is Monday, December 11th. And I will be tuning in at 8 p.m. East Coast time here in Louisville, Kentucky to watch Monday Night Raw. So that's pretty much my topic for today. I'm going to be uploading this to my YouTube account. I want to know who's your favorite wrestler. What is your favorite wrestling show you ever attended? Have you ever met any wrestlers, past or present? If so, who? Like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, The Artful Rhino, Until then, I am the Rhino, Matt Prophet, the artful Rhino, if you will. And I am bidding you all a good night. And until the next video, stay classy. And to quote the Legion of Doom, what a rush! Good night, everybody.